Hello, everyone. How are you today? How are you this weekend? How's your Sunday been? I've had a good weekend, very focused on what I'm about to do today, which I never thought I would do. I really didn't think I would revisit You Fooled Him Once Again. I mean, it's a long, long time ago. 1981 it came out, and I wrote it actually when I was 16 in 1980. So, but there were a lot of people asked about it, and I'm quite touched that some of you would like to hear the story behind it and hear a new rendition. Well, and it really is new. I have not played it since 1981, I think. Um, let's see how this goes. Let's check in with everyone first. Um, Ezria is there bright and early. Hi, Ezria. Hello to you too. And there's Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? And Mr. Bubbly. Who is Mr. Bubbly? Interesting name. What is your real name, Mr. Bubbly? And Isabel. Hello, Isabel. How are you doing? Claire, glad you can make it. Claire, hi, Clark. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all well. I'm doing well. Are you all okay? I hope so. Megan, hi, Clark. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA. How's everything over there, Megan? I hope things are good with you. Lucretia, hi, everyone. Hi, Clark. Hi, Lucretia. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Kimberly, hello to you too, Kimberly. Nice that you could join us. Hala, greetings from beautiful Scotland. Hello, Hala in beautiful Scotland. Hope you are doing grand up there. Um, Marcia, hi Clark. What a nice surprise that you're going to perform your very first single, You Fooled Him Once Again. I'm sure this will be great because every live stream is absolutely brilliant. There isn't one single song that you wrote that I don't like. Thank you for being the soundtrack of my life. You're very welcome, Marcia. What a lovely message again. Yeah, this is a very different kind of song, You Fooled Him Once Again, and because I was in a very different time of my life. I was much younger, so I'll tell you more about that. Um, and Simon says, "Hello everyone from Hailsham." Hello, Simon, Simon and Nikki. Hello to both of you at Hailsham FM. Nice to know that you're both there with us today. I hope you're keeping well. Richard, hey Richard, how you doing? Richard is a very old friend of mine and of my family actually, and Richard knows a lot of this story because he was a part of it. So it's great you could join us, Rich. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing grand. Robopol, hi everyone. I am back. Good, Robopol. Glad you could make it. Fantastic. Neil is saying hello, Clark, and everyone here. Hope you're well. Hope you're well too, Neil. Good that you could join us again. And Fatima is saying, hi everybody, I'm so looking forward to this one so much. Yes, Fatima was one of the people who requested that I do something with this song. So here we go, Fatima. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. Rocio, good morning, beautiful people everywhere. What a lovely message. Hey, Rocio, good to see you. And Velma, hello everyone. Hello to you, Velma. Thanks for joining us. I'm picking out people that I haven't said hello to yet. I know a lot of you have left other messages, but Antonia. Goedenavond allemaal. Een speciaal Clark. Deze week is de cardioversie mislukt. Nu nog steeds in. Basically, I think what you're saying is sorry, Antonia. Let me just quickly see. This week is cardio tests, is it? I don't know. I need to look at that more. I hope you're doing well, Antonia. I will translate later, okay? But I love your cat in that picture. That is so good. I hope you're doing well health wise, okay? Oh, and Richard is just saying here again, Richard, who knows the backstory here. Hello, Clark. Really looking forward to this episode. Joe, Finley, and I send our love. I send my love to all three of you as well. Hope you're doing grand. Um, and Sonia, good evening, Clark and everyone. Glad to see you at Journey Songs 245. Greetings from Kazakhstan. Greetings to you, Sonia. Yes, I forgot it's 45, heading towards 50. It's a bit of a magic number, which you'll find out why soon. Setsuko, hi there. Hope all of you and Good Vibe Clark are well. This is Setsuko from Japan. Konbanma Sensuko, thank you very much for joining us again. I know it's a late one for you, so I always appreciate it when you and my friends in that part of the world stay up late to be part of Journey Songs. It makes all the difference, let me tell you. Art Strout, Arthur, my friend. Hey, Clark, hope you're doing good. I'm doing good, man. How are you? Art's another friend of mine. But you're all friends of mine, of course. Annie, hi everyone. I was so chuffed to find this tune on 7-inch and 12-inch back in the day. Really, Annie? Did you buy it when it actually came out, or did you find it, a couple of years after or a few years after? Yeah, there was a 12-inch. It was actually pretty cool. It was an extended, basically, just a longer version of the same song, which I know they usually are, but it wasn't really a remix as such, if memory serves me right. But you may correct me on that. Sue. Hi, Clark and everyone. My dog has the zoomies right now on cue, so I'm throwing him toys while listening. Well, I don't know. Is that because of the dog or is that because of Journey songs? Who knows? I hope the dog calms down soon. Sue is saying, good evening, Clark. Good evening to you, Sue. Thanks for joining us. Lax, my friend. Hi, Clark. 3 questions. 1. How influential was Motown music on your vocal style? 2. How was it working with the versatile Mark Wallace? 3. Will these early 80s recordings ever become available on CD? Excellent questions, Lax. You got your questions in very early. I will come back to those because think I kind of cover them in what I'm going to talk about. Great. Thank you, man. Bob. Morning, guys. Morning to you, Bob. How are you? Of course, you're getting up early. Well, it's not so early, is it, where you are for this? Or is it? I don't know. Remind me the time there, can you? And Sarah Ann. Hello, all. Hello, Sarah. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Now, Mr. Bubbly is saying this. Hello from Canada. Really like the song Shattered Dreams. I'm lucky to be listening to this kind of music at a young age. You are a younger Journey songer. So thank you. Great that you've joined us. Well, I was a young lad when I wrote this one, very young, 16. So it's going to probably sound quite different to the stuff that you know of mine, but hopefully interesting. Okay. And Bob is actually, I've just seen this from Bob. He's saying, I'm in Kansas City and the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl this evening. Oh, my goodness, it's a big moment. All right, Bob. Well, thank you for starting your day with Journey songs. Hope that's a good start to the day. Okay, let me just check. Zena. Hi, Clark. Hi, everyone. Hello, Zena. Good to see you. And Robopol is saying, not sure I might fall asleep while watching this live because it's after midnight in Thailand already. Thank you, Robopol. Thanks for staying up so late. See what you can do. You're a trooper for even making it this far. Well done. Annabella. Hello, everyone. Good evening to all of you from Annabella, and very good evening, Clark. You got this. Thank you, Annabella. Thanks very much. I hope I have. Vanessa in Belgium. Hello, Clark. Hello, all. Hope you're well. Looking forward to hearing about the very beginning of your music career. Yeah, that's right, Vanessa. It is the very beginning. So it's an interesting one, actually, as I researched it and remembered more and more. Nihal, hi, good evening, dear Clark. It's a great feeling to be here again. Again, a beautiful story awaits us. A very different kind of story, Nihal. Not so much philosophy in this one compared to the last 44. But I think it'll be fun. And Sam is here saying, hello everyone, hi Clark, have a great Journey song today. Sorry Lottie and I will have to watch on catch up as at a birthday celebration. Well, that's cool, but wanted to say hi to everyone. This was the first ever single I bought. It was playing in a place in London, I think West End Lane. I loved it. Oops, excuse me. I've just lost you there, Sam. Loved it as it had a 70s vibe. It cost me around £2, which was a lot of money back then. I was 12. That was a lot of money. Good heavens. I wonder if you might have even heard it in the record store that released it. We'll get to that. Who knows? It wasn't that far from West End Lane. Okay, let's just... Pranav is here. Hello, Pranav, my friend. This episode should be interesting since it revolves around a time that predates Johnny Hates Jazz. Yes, by 5 years, Pranav. So a lot happened in between, just between this and Johnny Hates Jazz forming. So yeah, it was quite a long time before, but inextricably linked, which is quite interesting about it. I'll explain why. You know how A leads to B leads to C, or one door opens and another one closes, and those kind of metaphors. Chris, how you doing up in Liverpool? Hello, everyone. Hello, Clark. Beautiful sunset here. Oh, cool. And great atmosphere for today's Journey songs. Great, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Nice to know that you've got a lovely evening in Liverpool. And Nigel. Hi, Clark Datchler of Johnny Hates Jazz. Hello, Nigel. Good to see you, Nigel. How are you keeping? Anders. Hi, Clark from Norway. Hello, Anders. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us again. Um, and Walter, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad you're back too, Walter. The more the merrier. Thanks for being part of the gang. Verdus is saying, hello, Clark. How are you? The first song of the best singer of the world. Your voice is amazing. The song is Dancy Land. Happy Valentine's Day in advance, Mr. Datch. Thank you so much, Verdus. That is such a cool message. I love it. Really cool. Thank you. That's brilliant. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Jeff, good afternoon, Clark and everyone. Greetings from Plymouth, Michigan, USA. Hey, Jeff, thank you for joining us. Roz, hey, Roz, how are you, Roz? Nice to see you. Hi, all. Where did the weekend go? Quite right, I know. Shocking, isn't it? Well, there's still a bit left. There's an hour with me, or, yeah, more like 45 minutes. Anton, hi, Clark and everyone. Can't wait to hear the story behind the track. I never heard before, unfortunately. Great funky 70s vibes. Love it. Cool. Thanks, Anton. Like I said, I was 16 when I wrote it, so really a newbie. Where I just want to make sure I said hello to as many people as I can. Hi, Clark and everyone. Sunny and warm in Florida. I bet it is, Sylvia. As the same for Rich and Joe. It sounds like it's nice there. Okay, and Walter. Hey, Walter, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. And Sakura, good morning, Clark, and everyone from Canada. Thanks for joining us. Another one from Canada. Excellent. Thank you, Sakura. Juanita, hi, just me today. Russ is away gigging. Looking forward to hearing the song. Very cool, Juanita. Give my best to him when you see him. I hope he has a good gig. Marek, hi, Clark, and everyone watching. Hope you're doing well. I am Marek. Are you doing good? I hope so. Gozia, hope I got that right. Hi, Clark. Greetings from Poland. Ah, fantastic. Nice to see you, Gozia. Thank you so much. I hope I pronounced your name right. I know I kind of make a bit of a mess of it sometimes, but lovely to see you. Thank you. And Richard. Hey, Richard. How's it going up in the Midlands? Hello, Clark. Hope you're well. Listened to the Turn Back the Clock album whilst walking around Sainsbury's yesterday. Nevertheless, looking forward to the story. Great. Well, like I said, Richard, very much connected. We'll get to it. And Steve. Hi, Clark. Great to be on board again. Unknown territory, this for me, so it will be very interesting, I'm sure. Steve, in a way, it's practically unknown to me. It's a question of, delving into the depths of my memory for this one. Andlieb. Hi, Clark. Super disco song like Earth, Wind and Fire. I dance. I love the rhythm. Cool, Andlieb. Well, that's really cool. We'll get to that. I loved Earth, Wind and Fire, by the way. What a band. What a band. Pavel. Hi, dear Clark. Nice to see you again. Love all the Journey songs. All the best and greetings from St. Petersburg. Great to see you, Pavel. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're keeping well. Okay. I think Lax has posted their questions again to make sure that I see them. Thank you, Lax. It's fun. Okay, I think I've pretty much covered everything here. Oh, Bob is saying it's 11 a.m. there. No, that's quite civil, isn't it? Ray Sean, I'm doing good. Glad to see you. Great, Ray Sean. Thank you very much for joining us. Sylvia saying go Chiefs. Veronica is saying greetings, Clark. Hello, everyone from Malaysia. Great. Thank you for joining us, Veronica. You've been here from the very beginning, like many of you have. So thanks for hanging on in there. 45 episodes. Daz. Hello, Clark and everyone. Hope you're well, having a good day from Cheshire in the UK. Looking forward to hearing this. Cool, Daz. Cheshire's a nice part of the world. And Mike. Hi there. You're an awesome singer. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Mike. That's very kind of you. That is very kind of you. As someone who sees myself as a singer second and a songwriter first, a songwriter who sings, it's always really touching to hear that. Or it's really nice to know that, because I don't put myself up as out there as, a singer like I don't know, Adele, or someone like that. I'm like I say, a writer first. So it's nice to hear that. Thank you. Okay, everyone. I'm gonna very quickly say hello to Vicky. Good morning, everyone from Chicago, Illinois. Having heard this song, I haven't heard this song before. Looking forward to it. Yeah, it's very different, Vicky. Hope you'll enjoy it. Angelica. Hello, Clark. Hello, everyone from Chile. Hola, Angelica. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo está? Isn't it? Yeah. Hope you're doing well. And Keith. Hi, Clark, and hello to you, Lou. Hi, Clark. Hope you're doing well. I remember buying your first single in Our Price Records and had to buy it on both formats. Be nice to hear it in acoustic style. Really cool, Keith. That's very cool that you got both formats. Nice one. Like Annie said earlier. And Emma, you made it. Hi, Clark and everyone. It's a big challenge to sing this song. Pretend you are 16. Thank you, Emma. Don't I know it as well? Very good. Polly, it's wonderful to see you all. Nice shirt. Thank you, Polly. Thank you very much. Yes, so I wore a special blue to match my keyboards. I love the color blue. It's all over the place in the studio, on the guitar there as well. Um, and Paul. Hey, Paul, I very much like this track. It reminds me of some of the stuff Jessie Ray did with Bernie Worrell. Oh, cool. Can't wait to hear the story behind it. Another unmissable episode of Journey Songs. Thanks a lot, Paul. That's a really interesting connotation, actually. Very interesting. So we'll get into this in a minute. Okay, everyone. I'm going to, I think I've said hello to everyone pretty much. Very quickly, Mr. Bubbly, younger Mr. Bubbly, you said it had an interesting name. It does have a story behind it. I got the name because around 2021, I really liked fake champagne or non-alcoholic. I don't want to reveal my full name, Mr. Bubbly. That's fun. No problem, Mr. Bubbly. That's who you are. I like it. Okay, everyone. Sue. Just so you're at the end there. Sue, hi Clark. Just rediscovering you. I was a great Johnny Hates Jazz fan. Looking forward to hearing you sing again. Sue, you're very welcome to Journey Songs. All the Johnny Hates Jazz songs have been covered in previous episodes. Delve through from Journey Songs episode 1 to relatively recently. You'll find a lot of Johnny Hates Jazz stuff there, all on YouTube. Okay, everyone. Lovely to say hello to you all. And let's get into the story. But first, you know what I'm going to say. I need a cup of tea. So, time for a tea break, coffee break, non-alcoholic champagne break, whatever you'd like, okay? Actually, Mr. Bubbly, I drink non-alcoholic beer. That's all I drink, when it comes to that kind of thing. So I'm with you. It tastes great these days. They're taking real steps. But that's not as a judgment of anyone who drinks it with alcohol. That's your call. That's just health-wise right for me. Okay, everyone. To tell this story, I have to give you a bit of a backstory that may seem slightly disconnected. But I feel it's important because we're not going to go through the lyrics. I'm not going to do anything like that. Like I said, I was in a much more evolutionary phase of my songwriting, so I'm not the words are the words, but it's not like there's nothing profound there. So when I was a teenager and I had been writing songs since I was 9 years old, you can probably imagine what they were like at the beginning. But as I've told you before, my whole family were very supportive of me, but especially my dad, who was a professional musician. And Dad, who, for some of you who haven't been to Journey Songs before, haven't seen this, my dad was in a couple of bands, the Stargazers, who were hugely successful, had their own radio show in Britain, and the Polka Dots, who were successful in a very cred way. They sang with Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, the Beatles, lots of people. And my dad is the one with the glasses here, okay? So actually this particular track has their cover of April in Paris. Beautiful song, and they had a hit with it. Fantastic. So Dad was encouraging me to learn music, learn, not just kind of learn it by ear, but learn the theory of music. And he encouraged me when I wanted to play guitar, and he actually ended up, him and my mom bought me this beautiful jazz electric acoustic guitar. And if anyone's seen George Benson play guitar, it was that kind of guitar, okay, or Joe Pass, who was a bit of a hero of mine. So I was learning guitar, very young, probably 14. maybe 15 actually, thinking about it. And I desperately wanted to record. I desperately wanted to get into a studio. Home studios didn't exist. You had to go to proper studios and they cost money. And I ended up selling the guitar to a pawn shop. That's what they're called, PAWN, pawn shop, in order to get the money to afford an afternoon in a studio. And when my dad found out, he was really angry with me. He was really, really angry with me that I didn't come to him first to say, could you help me get into a studio? That I did this without him knowing because he'd given me this guitar. I was very ashamed, very ashamed. Um, but although he really made me aware of, putting a big foot wrong here, it also, I think, made him aware that I was really serious about wanting to be in music. So a little while later, I wrote a song, which was "You Fooled Him Once Again" was the song, and it was me beginning to get a little more advanced with my songwriting, and my father really liked it, so he decided to put me in a studio, a proper big studio in Wimbledon, in London. R.G. Jones it was called, and record "You Fooled Him Once Again." Now that's not the recording that you've probably heard now. This was a different recording, very high level, but it was a slow track. And interestingly, that's actually what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do the slower version of it. It's very hard to do the dance version of it on a piano, as you can probably imagine. But that recording set off a whole chain of events. And my dad was in the studio with me as I did it the whole time. I was incredibly nervous. I hadn't been in a fully fledged, huge studio before. And basically, it found its way into the "You Fooled Him Once Again," found its way into the hands of a guy called Billy Russell, together with his partner, who was also called Billy, who ran a record store in London called Bluebird Records. Now I'm jumping ahead here because I wanted to show you all the pictures to go along with this. So we'll hold it there, okay? Let's see if I've got, where are we? Okay, so let's just go to Bluebird for a minute. This was Bluebird Records. Now Bluebird was a soul import store. It imported soul music and funk music from the US, sometimes Japan, elsewhere, stuff that you couldn't get in the UK. But they also had a record label called Blue Ink, and I was signed to Blue Ink for one record, just one. And I was given what's called an advance. An advance payment is something to keep you going whilst the record comes out. And the advance payment, and you have to pay it back eventually, by the way, from your record sales. The advance payment was £1. It was a nominal sum, shall we say that. It was really, they didn't want to do that at all. They had to give me something. So that's how much of a beginning it was. It was not a glorious kind of showbiz beginning with cameras there watching me do everything at the beginning. No, this was, tough, gritty times. So before I go any further, let's just look at me back in the day. So you've seen this picture before. This was taken actually round the corner from Bluebird, and that bench is still there actually. So this was me, and I was in a very different time of life musically. What I was into, as I've told you before, I was very eclectic. I was into anything from Deep Purple to the Sex Pistols to ABBA to the Jackson 5 very much. But I was getting more and more into funk and soul at that time. And in particular, I was a big fan of a guy called Bobby Caldwell, amongst other people. But Bobby Caldwell did a record called "What You Won't Do for Love." Does anyone know "What You Won't Do for Love"? It was a minor hit back then. But over the years, it's become appreciated. It's been covered. It's practically a classic, and it always was to me. And in fact, I loved all of his early albums. I had them all. I was a big fan of Bobby Caldwell. Um, so he was very much an influence for me when I wrote "You Fooled Him Once Again." So going back to going back to how all this came about. How did I get signed to this tiny little label? Because it was very difficult to get signed to any kind of label. Well, me and my brothers had a circle of friends, and they were really my brothers, especially my oldest brother Warren's friends, but also my middle brother Ash's friends too, and they became my friends. I was their kind of baby brother. And they were very much connected to the soul music scene in the UK, especially in London. Richard, who's watching today in particular, ran an amazing store called City Sounds, which is a big soul record store. But also, Richard, I'll mention Justin, of course. Justin, who was a friend of ours, whose father arranged the orchestra for Heart of Hearts and Where Do We Go From Here on Journey Songs 1. And Jeremy Lubbock, very famous composer and songwriter as well. And another friend of ours called Paul Delary. And Paul actually had the immediate bridge to the two Billies at Bluebird Records, and he took it to them and he played it to them, and they liked it. They liked the idea of doing something with this young lad who was very ambitious, obviously had a lot to learn. And so they put me in a studio. Now, interestingly, folks, I had forgotten the name of the studio. It was only through researching the guy who engineered and mixed it, Mark Wallace, who Lax asked about earlier. Very famous engineer, but I didn't know it at the time. I don't think he knew it at the time, actually. I recorded it at Marcus Studios, which was one of the big studios in London. Doesn't exist anymore. So I had forgotten that, oh my goodness, I'd done this at Marcus. It wasn't like a B-rate studio or C-rate studio. This was top level. And who made the record with me? Well, I ostensibly wrote and produced it. I didn't know what I was doing. And here are the main people involved. That's Mark Wallace on the top left, and Mark Wallace actually went on to engineer and mix and work with U2 and the Smiths and became very high level. Travis as well. To the right of him is George Oban, who was the original bass player in the UK reggae band Aswad. And Aswad were huge here. Actually, in the 80s, they got even bigger, later 80s. And the bottom picture, that is Drummy Zeb. And Drummy was the drummer in Aswad and actually was also the singer. And a lot of people recognize him for the hits they had because he was the one who was singing. So this was all the two Billies who made this happen. They were very hooked into the reggae scene. That was a big part of what they did from their store. They sold, import records of soul, funk, and reggae. So they knew Aswad. But they also knew a wonderful vocalist called Juliet Roberts. And Juliet Roberts went on to have some success in the early 90s. But at that time, she actually was signed to Blue Ink as well, Bluebird Records. And she was a member of a band called Working Week that were a proper jazz funk outfit. Fantastic singer. And Julie agreed to do backing vocals, but kind of went further. Her voice became quite a presence on it. And in actual fact, when I finally performed for the very first time on my own on stage, and I did You Fooled Him Once Again here at the Lyceum, what was the Lyceum Ballroom back then, the Lyceum Theatre now, which is where the Lion King is on practically all year round. This was my first gig on my own on stage singing to the backing track, and Juliet came on to sing with me, which was, I believe me, was a real comfort to have someone else there. again, I was so naive and so inexperienced. So when I finished the song, the stage was swarmed by people, and Billy Russell handed me a pack of photos of me, the one that I showed you earlier, and he said, "Give them to everyone and sign them." And I said, "Really? What, me? Do it?" He said, "Yeah, get in there." And he pushed me into this massive group of people, and it was my first experience of, signing for people. A really interesting evening that was. So it came out, and there it is. You fooled him once again. Written, arranged, and produced by Clark Datchell, mixed by Mark Wallace. And yeah, it was quite an experience. I did my first radio interview on Radio Invicta, which was a pirate soul station with a DJ called Steve Walsh. I've just found Radio Invicta on Facebook, actually. I left them a message. And now, as some of you know, the only place you can hear this is on an album called Classic Funk Volume 1. When I discovered that, I was really touched because I didn't know how people heard that song. I didn't know how they heard that record. Did they hear it as a soul record, or kind of someone who was making a bit of an attempt to do a soul record? And there it is alongside these very classy funk records. And obviously, whoever put this together felt that it belonged there. And I was really touched because I loved funk. I was really into it. So at the time, I was really into this form of music, which was British jazz funk. And that was a lot of us, me and Richard and Paul and Justin and my brothers Warren and Ash, we were and other friends as well. We were really into soul music. I was probably the rockiest one, but we were really into soul music, funk music, and we loved all the stuff from the US and from Japan. It was really, really high level, classy, and the British stuff was edgier. It was a bit rougher, and I really liked that, coming from kind of being into the Pistols and the Jam and all that. I kind of liked that aspect of it. So let's see who was around at the time and what was influencing me. So, do you recognize these bands? Some of you will, some of you won't. Top left-hand corner is Level 42, Love Games. Came out in 1981. I saw them at the Hammersmith Odeon, now the Hammersmith Apollo, when they had released Love Games, and they were great. And I ended up going on tour with them. How cool is that? Beneath them is Light of the World. Very, very influential in terms of how British jazz funk evolved. Beneath them, you should recognize Imagination, you 80s music fans. Body Talk came out in 81. And let me just point here, this picture here, these two guys, this is Lynx. Now, You're Lying, which I bought, I loved, actually came out in 1980. But this is David Grant. Do you remember David Grant? You should do, because he's been on TV lots and lots and lots. But of course, he made great records with Jackie Graham, Mated, being one of my favourite, actually. Excuse me. And actually, David gave me voice lessons before I rejoined Johnny Hates Jazz in, kind of 2008, 2009. So what a great guy. And this bunch here is Freeze. They had a big, big hit called Southern Freeze in the UK. I don't know what it did elsewhere, but the guy in the bottom right-hand corner was, again, family friend, John Rocker. So he was kind of, he was there to give advice as well. So I was very lucky to have these friends who were hooked into the British soul music scene. So, after talking myself out of a voice, practically, saying this is going to be a shorter story, I'm going to just have a cup of tea, everyone. Quick tea, coffee, break, or whatever it is. Now, interestingly, I'm seeing this, and this is cool. Sarah is saying, my children watched David and Cary Grant's singing show on CBC, Children's BBC. Yes, that's right. David and his wife Cary Grant are, very present on UK TV. But David is an astounding singer and an astounding songwriter. When I went to have voice lessons with him at his house, and he's taught, he's given voice lessons to some really, really big names. You just saw the songs that he'd written, and I had no idea he had such a history. So I hope I can interview David at some point. Be good to see him again. And okay, Hala is saying all of my favorite artists. Cool, Hala. That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, I still love those songs. Ferdous is saying yes, Imagination Body Talk. Yeah, what a great record that was. Really great. Um, and Polly's saying Jackie Graham, amazing. Yeah, Jackie Graham. I've been on stage with her a couple times. What a singer! I loved her back then, and love her now. Fantastic. Um, okay, Neil is saying you did such a great job supporting Level 42 that I couldn't warm to their set and went home early. Neil, thank you. I shouldn't laugh at that, should I? No, I should. That made me feel terrible. That's so cool. We got a great reception on the Level 42 tour, so thank you for saying that, Neil. Um, and and they were great as well. And Marek is saying many thanks for Bobby Caldwell, Clark. Now I know what I'm going to do for the next 2 hours. I'm going to undust my collection of Grover Washington CDs. Just the two of us sound similar to Bobby Caldwell. I remember it very well. Grover Washington, what a great musician. Yeah, nice one, Marek. Very nice one. Okay, let me just scroll up because I've come in right at the end here. Just see. Yeah, Lax is actually mentioning that Mark Wallace mixed many big bands from U2 and REM. Yeah, I forgot about REM. Well said. And Paul makes a good point. Drummy Zeb very sadly missed. Yes, Drummy Zeb, the lead singer and drummer in Aswad, died some years ago. Very sad. Way before his time. Okay. And Bob is saying, just notice the frame pic on the back wall. Is this one here? Rain Dance, yes. If that's the one you mean. It's the cover of Rain Dance. Yeah, it's the one of only two posters I have from that time. Um, Amazing. I've just got to say, Polly is mentioning Invicta Laser 558 and Radio Caroline. That was the 80s, yeah. Pirate radio stations. um, Richard is making a comment about Lynx, yeah. Worth mentioning. Really good band. And let's see, what else have I got here? Fatima is exclaiming Bobby Caldwell, yeah. Tremendous artist. I have already kind of lost touch with his music, but I met him when Shattered Dreams was a hit. Actually, after that, I was going to record Rain Dance. Umberto Katika, who co-produced Rain Dance, when we were in LA working on it, took me to a club to see Bobby Caldwell perform. And the club was full of the top musicians of LA. All of Toto were there. It was just, it was unbelievable. I no doubt Grover Washington was there. I was just in a state of shock. Some of the members of Earth, Wind and Fire, all there to see Bobby Caldwell, who was largely unknown then. And it was such an amazing evening. He sang brilliantly, and he came over, and Umberto introduced me to him because he knew Bobby. And Bobby was so cool. He said, that song Shattered Dreams is an amazing song. You are going to go far. It was really sweet of him to say that. I was, lost for words. Okay. Now, Nikki is saying, Clark, you perform so well live. Just let me know when you want to perform a live track on Hailsham FM. Nikki, I will. Thank you. That's a lovely idea. Why not? Great idea. So, oh no, that's from earlier. Okay. So I hope, Richard, as you're watching, that I'm doing this story justice. You'd probably give a whole other dimension to it. But in the time scale I've got. And David's saying hello. Hey, David, well done for making it. Thanks for joining us. Okay, everyone. Nice to hear all your messages. And great. I've got this lovely message. Sorry, I've just got to Mr. Bubbly is saying, also, I want to become a singer just like you. What are some tips? Actually, you know what? Watch Journey songs because it's my story, and in some ways that that explains what it is to become a singer and why. Because there's many different reasons why someone would want to become a singer, but you'll learn my reasoning behind it, and it's a bit different from a lot of people's, though not everyone's. Nice question. I like it. Good luck. Um, okay. So, everyone, I think I need another cup of tea. I'm just wanting to check if I did all my. Ah, no, this is what I didn't explain. Okay, cup of tea. Sorry, this might sound a bit disjointed. I'm doing a lot of talking here, but I wanted to explain the origins of this record because it really is what led to me being here. You know, it's easy to say Shattered Dreams is what kind of set that in motion, and in a way that's true. But actually, really, it started with You Fooled Him Once Again, because although it wasn't a hit in the soul world, it got some attention, and I did the live shows, and that was really good. But my brother Ash, my middle brother, worked for a very well-known high fashion clothes store on the King's Road in Chelsea, London, back then, and many well-known people, musicians, celebrities would come into the store to get their clothes. The King's Road was like the fashion street of the world at that point. Quite seriously, that's where punk really evolved from. And he chose to play it to a guy called Rusty Egan, and Rusty was from Visage and had also been in the Rich Kids, both with Midge Ure, and was getting into producing, and he was a DJ at the Camden Palace, which is now Coco's. And Rusty liked You Fooled Him Once Again, so he signed me. And this is Rusty. Rusty was very important for me because I was this soul boy who, through meeting Rusty, kind of got introduced to the electronic music world. And he liked the stuff I was into as well. We were both really into Rick James. So he produced a track of mine called I Want Your Love. I've mentioned it before. It's disappeared. I've seen Rusty since then. We don't know where it is. Or we think we might know, but it's going to be very difficult to get hold of it. Which was kind of like an electronic Clark Datchler meets Rick James track. It was a really cool track. And on the basis of that, Mickey Most and Calvin from Johnny Hates, the original lineup of Johnny Hates Jazz, heard I Want Your Love and asked me to join this band, Hot Club, with Calvin on the left there, and Glenn Matlock and James Stevenson. And that directly led to the formation of Johnny Hates Jazz with Mike and Calvin some years later. So it really did trigger with You Fooled Him Once Again, even though it sounds very different to what I did with Johnny Hates Jazz and then what I did on my own. Okay, well, that's my tale. That's the I. There was a lot more to it, of course. You know, I could talk more about the whole journey, but that's it in a nutshell, shall we say? Formative years for me. Um, and interesting, Anton is saying, I saw Rusty Egan a couple of years ago in St. Petersburg with a DJ set. What a great person he is! He's a real character. I think I've told you this before. That Rusty and I met a few years ago at a festival, and he was on at the side of stage when me and Mike were performing, and I decided to call Rusty out onto the stage and thank him in front of thousands of people for being so important in my musical journey, and I dedicated Turn Back the Clock to him. It was a really lovely moment. Okay, everyone, done a lot of talking. I'm going to have some tea again, and then I'll finally sing the song. Actually, I forgot. Lax asked those questions. But Pranav, who's a friend of Lax's and mine, says this has to be one of the most fascinating episodes since it really gives us a sense of your musical trajectory from a sonic ground zero. Nicely put, Pranav. That's the journalist in you. Thank you so much. It really is well put. Thank you. Um, and okay, so let's just go to what Lax asked. And the thing about, did Motown influence my style of singing? Not really. And the reason I say that, not as an anti to Motown, but I knew I wasn't that kind of singer. Um, I think that although I loved a lot of that stuff, my taste in soul music was much broader than Motown. I liked a lot of the stuff on A&M and Atlantic and Warner's. Motown was just a part of it. Weirdly, my favorite artist on Motown was Stevie Wonder. Um, so yeah, I was into other things like the Brothers Johnson. They were really up my street. And I mentioned Earth, Wind and Fire, the Isley Brothers. I was worshipped. So, and then Bobby Colwell, Gino Vanelli, who was not really in the soul world. He was kind of more like a jazz fusion prog artist. For anyone who knows Gino Vanelli, fantastic artist. I met Gino a couple of times as well. Absolutely fantastic. So that was kind of my background, as well as Deep Purple and all the people I've mentioned before. I liked it all. Okay, yes, so Lax, that was I was inspired, I guess say, but I didn't try and sing like that. My style of singing I felt was more similar to, Lennon and McCartney. That was kind of my natural home. And as much as I focus on soul right now, my beginning was really Lennon and McCartney and Burt Bacharach and Hal David. As you've seen me probably post on socials recently about Burt Bacharach passing away recently, which has really affected me because I loved his songs so much. And Elizabeth is saying Gino Vanelli, Canadian. Yes, indeed. Love his music. Yeah, me too. Amazing. The first series of albums. Wow. Okay. Everyone, you've all asked some really great questions here, and I should get to the song, but quickly, Vanessa's asking an interesting one. King's Road is still a beautiful place. It is, isn't it, to shop? Was the designer Jean-Paul Gaultier? They sold Jean-Paul Gaultier in that shop, which was called Jones. Doesn't exist anymore. They sold Armani. They sold a lot of classy brands at that point. Kind of small scale stuff. But yeah, I actually ended up wearing a lot of Jean-Paul Gaultier as a result of my brother getting me those clothes from the shop. So okay, everyone, I think I'll leave it there, and we'll do the song. Like I say, I've done a lot of talking, so I'm going to just have another swig. Did I mention Clipper tea? Well, actually, I need water, I think. Hang on. Hey. Okay. Hem. I'm slightly more light-hearted about this episode, in all honesty, because there's not a big message behind it, and in a way, it's kind of nice to have a Journey songs off, where I'm just doing something which is just, literally a trip down memory lane for me. Okay. Bear in mind, have not played since I was 17. All right. Okay. He came home from work, had a bad day. She'd been out to town and nothing to say. Each day brings lovers in disguise, but it was no surprise when he saw what was wrong. A car was outside. I looked up the stairs, just pushed to one side. This time she left it loud and clear. The other love was here, yeah. You fooled him once again. How come the joker always beats the diamond's 10? There's no ace up his sleeve. You tricked him one last time. In love there are no set of rules. You fooled him once again. I knew you could not stand love without other men. But did you have to show him cheated by a love? You really fooled him once again. And now that he's gone, he still thinks of you. But why he still cares, no, I haven't a clue. 10 years since he has seen us kids, that number 10 that last year. You fooled him once again. How come the joker always beats a diamond's 10? There's no ace up his sleeve. You tricked him one last time. In love there are no set of rules. Yes, you did. You fooled him once again. I know you could not stand love without other men. But did you have to show him cheated by a love? You really fooled him once again. How come the joker always beats a diamond's 10? There's no ace up his sleeve. You tricked him one last time. In love there are no set of rules. Yes, you did. You fooled him once again. I knew you could not stand love without other men. But did you have to show him cheated by a love? You really fooled him once again. Wow, 16-year-old me. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's not identical to the record, but it's very close to the original recording I did of it that my dad arranged and made possible for me. So thank you, Dad, for doing that. And what I want to say first of all is thank you to all the people that have helped me along the way. And that's, of course, my mom and my dad. That is my brothers, Warren and Ash, my friends, Rich, who's watching, Paul, Justin, John, Terence, Simon. You know who you all are. And because they were all very, very supportive of me. They're, like I say, their younger brother, basically. That's how they treated me in a lovely way. And then beyond that, you know, Rusty as well, big part of my world. The two Billies at Bluebird Records. I think Richard is finding out what's happened to them. I think we've lost one of the Billies, which is a shame. And then I could go on, but I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Because I've spoken about my time at Rack and Mickey Most a little bit more, and I'll come back to that. But everyone, I really appreciate you joining me for this one. I know it's a bit more of an unknown for a lot of you. I hope you enjoyed it. Stylistically a bit different. I'll be back in 2 weeks with another Journey Songs, episode 46. And Emma's actually asked, is there any news about Journey Songs 2? Yes, there is. And I know I've been saying it for about 2 months. I'm about to make an announcement. I think the next episode I'll be able to announce the pre-order, and really remind you what it's about, because this is to me, this is an epic album. So, and of course, the song you hear at the beginning of Journey Songs, Nothing Left to Lose, is on this album. So, what I will say, everyone, is just as a little bit of information, because a few people have mentioned a song of mine called Where Do We Go From Here? And that was recorded at the same time as Rain Dance, but I chose not to include it for reasons that I will explain when I do Where Do We Go From Here in a Journey Songs. If you want to hear it, you can stream it. Go to find me, Clark Batchelor, on Spotify and Apple Music and etc. Look for Journey Songs 2. You'll find Where Do We Go From Here on disc 3. The reason I'm mentioning this is that I wrote Where Do We Go From Here right after I wrote You Fooled Him Once Again. It's a very old song. I wrote it when I was 16 as well. And my dad really liked this one as well. So if you want to kind of hear a little more of my songwriting ethos back then, have a listen to Where Do We Go From Here. That's more of a kind of a Burt Bacharach type song. I think you might dig it. Okay, everyone, I'm so pleased that you joined me, and I thank you again. It's been really enjoyable. So you've left a lot of messages here, but I'm out of time. I'm so sorry, everyone, but I've loved it. I'll love joining you again in 2 weeks. I'll announce, in the course of the next few days what the next song is going to be. But there's a lot to talk about, and believe me, Journey Songs is not just going to kind of meander along, a song here, a song there. It's going places, and I need to explain what I mean by that. Now I want to have some of those biscuits. Okay, everyone, take care. Have a really good couple of weeks. All right, keep in contact. You can find me most of all on Facebook, and see you soon. Adios.